Good evening, I'm Besa Pinchotti. Thanks for joining us. The death toll from that bad weather has risen to 23 tonight. But you may have noticed your interest rate has gone up for what seems like no reason. It is absolutely gorgeous out here. It's finally starting to feel like spring. But if you're going to be out here in the sunshine, deputies say a man used his SUV to ram into an ATM. They brought a bunch of food here to the food drive, and you didn't even have to get out of the car. It's nice and toasty. I want to keep my head in here because it feels so good. I just click and hang it up.
By the way, you have a call in the newsroom. You want me to tell them you're busy right now?
Is it a mattress company?
Are you occupied?
Come on, guys. They're still speechless from the pictures. The most famous authors in the country, and lucky for us, he is right here in Eastern North Carolina, so it is so great to see you here. Big fan, read so many of your books. Not to make this a competitive thing, because I know we all have the same goal, but is it going better tonight than it did last night? A couple of turkeys can breathe easier tonight.
Skip and I?
No, not you two turkeys. These are other turkeys.
Crossing Eastern Carolina with coverage you can count on. This is News Channel 12 at 5.
An angry mother fights the school that left her son shivering and alone for 8 hours. Plus, how far police say one man went to get cash from an ATM. And our top story, the man who set 2 local churches on fire talks about his crimes. Good evening, I'm Besa Pinchotti. It's been almost a year since we told you about those fires at 2 Greenville churches. Today in court, the man who set them learned his fate. Seth Price pleaded guilty to all charges and was sentenced to at least 10 years in prison. News Channel 12's Allison Blair was in the courtroom. Seth Price. Coming up at 6 o'clock, we will have reaction from parishioners to what happened in court today, and we'll show you how far the churches have come this past year. There is a long history of people burning down churches in our country, especially in the South. A sharp increase in these types of fires led to the formation of a task force in 1996. It was an effort to get federal, state, and local law enforcement working together against church arsons. There was a major decrease in those fires and an increase in arson arrests after the task force was formed. 3 current and former Duke lacrosse players who weren't indicted in the rape case filed a lawsuit today. Ryan McFadden, Matthew Wilson, and Breck Archer are suing Duke, the former Durham DA, and others. The players say authorities conspired to keep going with the rape case, even though a stripper's allegations were bogus. The 3 players who were charged in the case filed a similar suit in October. The woman accused of kidnapping her twins from their adoptive parents in Apex last year was sentenced today. A Wake County judge gave Allison Quetz 5 years probation. She pleaded guilty in September to kidnapping her young twins and taking them to Canada, where she was arrested. Quetz spent nearly a year in custody before entering her plea. Turning now to our forecast, it was cold out there again today, but not quite as cold as it was yesterday. Is this the start of a trend? Chief Meteorologist Skip Waters has the answer and a first look at your Storm Track 12 forecast.
Yeah, we warmed it up.
A Kinston mother is furious after finding her 3-year-old son locked in a school bus. It happened yesterday at the Head Start preschool in Kinston. Adrienne Larry says she found her son Shamir screaming and crying inside the bus when she came to pick him up. Teachers at the school had no idea he was there. The toddler was rushed to the hospital. He's okay, but doctors say the child was locked in the bus for more than 8 hours.
His body was cold. He was shaking.
Officials at the preschool wouldn't comment on the situation. They're conducting their own investigation. The boy's mom has filed a child neglect complaint with Kinston police. A bizarre crime in Bayboro. Deputies say a man used his SUV to ram into an ATM, but the machine never budged. News Channel 12's Mike Laquia has details. Nobles faces a long list of charges, including littering. That one is because deputies say he left the chain at the bank. Police didn't have much trouble catching a suspected burglar. That's because Chaz Lehman Cobbs was sleeping inside the house he's accused of breaking into. Lehman faces 21 charges, including 7 for felony breaking and entering. A neighbor called police when he saw pizza being delivered. The homeowners live in Durham. People in one Eastern Carolina city won't be visiting their library until further notice. The New Bern-Craven County Public Library has closed because of problems from a recent gas leak. They don't have heat right now, and we all know it's cold out. Other branches in the county are open in Havelock, Vanceboro, and Cove City. Well, it was a chilly but beautiful day out in Eastern North Carolina. Let's take a live look over the skies of Greenville tonight. Sharonda Cooper spends a lot of time cleaning. She has a 1-year-old named Savion, and because she's a healthcare worker, she worries about the bacteria he comes in contact with.
Yes, very much so, because he gets sick real easy.
We decided to go through a typical day and test all of the things Sharonda might touch. We tested her car door handle, the steering wheel, Savion's car seat, the bottom of her purse, a quarter, a gas pump, a shopping cart, a pin pad, a magazine at the doctor's office, the handle on a bathroom door, an arcade game, and an indoor playground. EnviroChem, a lab out of Wilmington, taught us how to do the test and then went through the results with us. There are a couple of factors that affect those results.
It's a combination of when it was last used by people and whether they had clean hands or not.
The test checks the heterotropic plate count. The lab takes our samples, puts them in a petri dish, then grows them in an incubator. Then they count the number of colonies, which are those spots that you see. And that's what gives us our results. The highest bacteria count, Savion's car seat, with his mom's purse not too far behind.
It was good gracious.
Here's a look at all the results in order of what had the most bacteria. The steering wheel, bathroom door handle, magazine at the doctor's office, and indoor playground all tied for 3rd place. Next came the handle at the gas pump, and then a quarter. Everything else, the car door handle, the pin pad at the checkout, the shopping cart, and the arcade game all came out pretty clean. But it isn't always that simple. With this test, you can't tell exactly what kind of bacteria was growing on these things. It may be dangerous, or it could be completely safe.
Most of these bacteria are not harmful because you're getting them from just general surfaces. It depends on the type of bacteria. Some of them will die off in a matter of hours, others can stay around several days.
But none of this is good news to Sharonda. She says she'll keep on doing whatever she can to keep the bacteria away, whether it's dangerous or not.
Clean, get sandy wipes and clean.
Besa Pinchotti introduces us to the 2008 Calendar Girls of New Bern.
You may have heard of the original Calendar Girls.
I used to be in a band.
12 women from Yorkshire, England, who made a nude calendar to raise money for leukemia research. Well, now meet one of our own Eastern Carolina Calendar Girls, Miss May.
It felt wonderful. I thought, you know, you only go this way once, and I'm going to live my life wonderfully.
Miss May and 12 other women from New Bern bared it all, almost all, for local charities.
What were you wearing exactly?
Well, I started out with a bathing suit, which I couldn't wear, so.
Miss May posed nude here in her own garden just a few steps away from a main street.
Nude in your garden?
Absolutely. No, I had jewelry on.
Miss January wore jewelry too, plus a bow tie and some thigh-high fishnets, all to send a message.
That people our age should loosen up, lighten up. Life can be fun. You don't have to be serious all the time.
Not all of her peers agree. Miss January admits she's gotten some sneers from other women her age.
There's always going to be that. No matter what you do in the world, there's going to be somebody that disapproves of you.
Often we're our own harshest critics.
I just thought, oh my gosh. Well, that's not bad.
But we can all learn an important lesson from these women, to accept ourselves and love what we've got.
It was not uncomfortable, no. It was just fun. It's just kind of opened up my world a little bit.
In New Bern, Besa Pinchotti, News Channel 12.
Most parents feel the safest when their kids are in their own backyard, but that's actually where there are a lot of hidden dangers. I took a couple experts to a backyard playground and learned some important lessons.
These kids are enjoying the sunshine at a friend's backyard, but their parents may be shocked to know this playground isn't completely safe.
Obviously, this playground does not have ground covers, so that's something that this owner definitely needs to look at.
That's actually the biggest mistake owners make with their backyard jungle gym. There should be sand or mulch underneath the playground extending 6 feet around it, and it needs to be about a foot deep.
Another item of concern, if you notice the rust, check your playground. I mean, a lot of it's common sense. If it doesn't look like it's been maintained, then I would certainly be concerned.
And make sure there's nothing protruding from your equipment. Kids could easily cut themselves on these rusty nails. You should also pay close attention to the openings in your playground. Experts have special tools to test them.
But the area of concern would be here, because if you notice here, the body probe goes through, but the head probe will not. And so this is a potential entrapment hazard.
As for the slide, this one's okay. The metal ones have been known to cause second and third degree burns. This one is plastic, which is good, but there's no cover on it, so kids may be tempted to run down it. And one last thing.
If you notice, this is not attached to the ground, and so this would probably be dangerous for a child who might try to climb this.
The experts I talked to say besides all that, the most important thing parents can do is keep an eye on their kids. If you're outside with them, there is much less likelihood of them getting hurt.
Padre, Filhos e Espírito Santo. Sia lodato Gesù Cristo.